In this video, we're going to talk about the manipulation of the polynomials. So first of all, we talk about what is the meaning of polynomials. So from this part, we can see from here, polynomial is actually the sum of monomials. So what is a monomials? From the first part, we can see that monomials is actually can be three things. The first thing is gonna be just a real number. So any number is actually can just pretend to be a monomials, or we can be a variable. So variables can be like A, B, C, D, whatever the letters, or like X, Y, Z. So those can be the variables. And also the third part is gonna be the product of a real number and the variables. So which means, for example, if I write something like 2x, this actually means as 2 times x. So this is actually means of the product. So these three things can be actually the meaning of monomials. Okay, so the polynomials is actually just adding up different monomials. So for example, this part is actually combined with three monomials. The first part is going to be negative x squared, and the second part is negative 5x, and the third part is plus 1. So we have these three monomials combined together to say this is actually a polynomial. Okay, so the third part is going to be talking about addition and the subtractions. So addition means just add up, so it's going to be calculating the sum. So subtraction is doing the minus of those polynomials. So for example, for the first part, first of all, if you have a bracket, then we try to expand it. We try to remove the bracket. So if the sign in front of the bracket is positive, then the sign in the middle do not need to change anything. Okay. So for this part, if the sign in front of the bracket is negative, then we should change all of the signs inside the bracket. So you can see from here, negative change to positive, the positive change to negative. So that's the first thing we need to know. If outside the bracket is a negative, then we need to change the sign. Okay, so that's for this chapter. It's not that hard, isn't it? So let's try to see this part. So for the first questions, we have 6ab plus 5ab. So you can see from here, it's actually this is AB is the variables and they are the like terms, isn't it? So now we have like 6 apples plus 5 apples. So it's definitely equal to 11 apples. So the answer should be C. And for the second question, we have a bracket. So for the first bracket, there's nothing at the front, so we can just remove it directly. And then for this bracket, in front of is a positive, so we don't need to change any of the sign. So we just plus 2x and then minus 3y. Then we can group the similar terms. So 9x with the 2x, so that's going to be equal to 11x. And for the second part, we have minus y minus 3y. So it's going to be minus 4y, isn't it? Okay, so the answer should be equal to A. So for the third question, you can see from here, this is a bracket, but there's a negative at the front. So we need to change both of the sign, isn't it? So for the first part, there's no sign at the front, so we don't need to change anything. So negative p minus 2q. But for the second part, it should be negative p, negative 4q. So say it again, we have a bracket, the sign in front of it is negative, so we need to change both of the sign. Both of the signs should be changed. Okay, then the next step is going to be combine the similar terms. So this is negative p, this is negative p. So negative p minus p is going to giving you negative 2p. And for this part, negative 2q minus 4q. So it's going to be minus 6q. So the answer should be D. So the last part, still we need to expand the bracket first. So this bracket in front of it, there's nothing. But for this bracket, there's a negative at the front. So we need to change the sign in front of them. So it's going to be 5x plus 3x squared minus x. So this minus should be changed to positive. So plus 4x squared. So now we try to put the similar terms together. So now we have the 5x. This is x squared. It's not the same as this x. So we can't combine these two, but there's a x here as well. So 5x minus x giving you 4x. And for the second part, the remaining two things, we have 3x squared plus 4x squared. They are similar, so it's going to be plus 7x squared. So the answer should be D. So try to finish the rest questions by yourself.